The Hudson School District has made great efforts to try and go as paperless as possible. Electronic communication and work is highly encouraged, but the district realizes that you will need to make occasional copies for your classroom. Your first choice should always be to plan early and send your copies to Document Services for printing, as this is the cheapest way to print or copy. Anything you are doing that requires over 20 pieces of paper should be sent here. You can send a hard copy to Document Services for copies you need made, but it is much faster if you can send your work to them electronically. This video explains how to set up your CopyNet account so you can send files to Document Services for printing. You will need to start by creating a CopyNet account. To do this, go to the Hudson School District CopyNet webpage and click on Create New Account. It is very important that you select the building you work in using the top drop-down menu. If you work in more than one building, select your base building or where your main office will be set up. You'll be able to add notes to your order if you do want your copies sent to a different building. If you ever change buildings, it's important for you to contact Document Services by calling extension 8055 so that you can then change this they can then change this in your profile. Please use your school email address as this will be your login name and it will also be where you will get confirmation emails. Type in a password. You do not need to type in an address, but please type your phone extension in for the phone number so that they can contact you with questions as needed. Finally, type in 4 ones for the corporation code and cost center. Here's an example. Since I already have an account, I am not going to submit this, but we'll continue on to the login screen. Once you have your account set up, you can log in using your email address and password. The default screen is the Print Jobs screen. This is a summary of the items you have sent over for duplicating and their status. This will be empty for you to begin with. To begin a job, click on New Print Order. This will bring up the form you need to complete in order to send an item to Document Services. Be sure to complete this as accurately as possible. Here's an example. You want to use a job name that will help you remember what this is going to copy, and it will also help Document Services find your document if you have questions about it later. Put in the date needed. You do need to give Document Services 5 to 10 working days to complete an order. To add your file, click on Browse. If you have already uploaded a file in the past, you can simply select it again as it will be saved there. But since this is your first time, you will probably need to add a new file. Here you can click on Select and browse for a file. And then upload it. It should then be listed in your list of files. I'll select the one I just uploaded. And let's say I want to send multiple jobs over to duplicating at the same time. You can add files to this. I could select another file too. If you want these items to be collated, you'll be able to select that later. Otherwise, you can just have 35 copies made or however many copies you need made of each one, and they will just come stacked on top of each other. Select if you want your items to be one-sided or two-sided. What type of paper is needed? The color of paper, sometimes this limits your next choices. For instance, if I want orchid colored paper, I can only have regular paper. But if I stick with white paper, I can order cardstock too. If you need to change the orientation of your page, you can change the orientation to landscape. Here you can tell if you want this collated or not. I'm not going to collate mine because I want it to print as two separate batches here, one the first page and the first document I added in the second document. You can add a cover. You can add stapling. They can staple in the upper left corner or they can staple along the length. You can also add a spiral binding. The spiral bindings do cost extra. And you can have them 3-hole punch it, cut it in half, fold it in half, or trifold for you. Go back to something that makes a little more sense for this job. If you have any special instructions, like I noted before, if you need this sent to a different building or have any special instructions for them, you can add them in the box. And then it's always good to preview your job. This will give you an idea of what it's going to look like when printed. If everything looks okay, click on Continue. Here's one final look at your order. If you hit back, you could go back and make changes, but your order will not be complete unless you hit Submit. You should look like for a verification notification email when you're done. This should come pretty quickly when it's after you've submitted your order. Exit will take you back to your main screen where you can also do a few other things. You can see a list of your files and upload more in order to save them here to have copies made later. So here's my file list again. I can just add to that. You can review your account and change your name or password as needed. You can also click on Support to access numerous written and video instructions on how to place orders. Once your order has been placed, you can expect delivery of your copies to your building mailbox within 5 to 10 working days.